So it's a whiskey for the heartache, hoping all those memories drown. And I'll probably regret this in the morning with my Texas eyes hangover. And for the record, this is why Jack Daniels is my only friend tonight.
Hello, welcome to the Season 1 finale of ManHound Sound Sessions. I'm your host, Bill Wardlow. My guest today, a tattoo-given, sad songwriting country singer named Dusty Chamblin. Dusty's a great all-around artist. He tattoos out of his shop right in the middle of Mount Orb, Ohio. It's 413 tattoos. Between that and his family, he's a really busy man. But he still manages to find time to write some really good country songs. I can't wait for you to hear it. So here's my interview with Dusty Chamblin.
So it's a whiskey for the heartache, hoping all those memories drown.
Welcome to the podcast, Dusty.
What's up? Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming by. I know you're a busy man.
Yeah, it's you sleep when you're dead, you know.
So let's get right to it. Where'd you get started? How'd you get started playing? And
man, I when I was a kid, I'd have to say I loved guitar since I could breathe, brother. I'm telling you, like, from probably, I mean, they talk about when I was a kid, my mom had to put an acoustic guitar, a full-size acoustic guitar in my crib, and that was my teddy bear.
Really?
And that's what I slept. And no lie, and they got pictures of it. It's crazy. I just, as long as I can remember, I loved music. I loved singing it. I loved dancing to it. I loved playing it. And just everything about it just puts you in another space and time. And it's just your own little world where nothing matters, no worries, no nothing. And then you're into that song and you're into that. I love it, dude. I love it.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love the way you describe it.
Yeah. It's just songs are like just a frozen moment in time, and you get to relive it every time. And that's what I love about music. Since I was a kid, I get into it, I dance and be into the song every time. And it's just all about feeling. It's all about expression. And my mama was a big part of that. She was into Peter Frampton and Joan Baez and all these musicians back in the day, and Marvin Gaye, and I mean, and I grew up listening to all this stuff on the radio, her cleaning the house and playing a broom as a guitar and I'm dancing behind her. And it's, and then, you know what I mean? In the same aspect, I go out to the garage and my daddy's working on a car and he's listening to Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash and, you know what I mean? Glenn Campbell and just all of the, like, Waylon Jennings and all of them. So I got the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
Go out to the garage
great.
with my dad, good old country music, and then in the house with mom, singing, you know, Peter Frampton, Do You Feel, and Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower. I loved it.
Nice. So when did you actually start playing?
When I started playing, they bought me my first guitar that I could remember at 5 years old. I know that, and I didn't get really serious about playing until I was about 10. But I always had it with me. You know what I mean? I always played. Anytime there was a live band, they would, if they could, they would make sure that I got to see them or got to listen to it, just at least a song, you know. And I can remember my earliest memory of seeing a band is I went to our cousin's wedding and she had a cover band there and they were playing Keep Your Hands to Yourself. And I just thought that was the coolest rockinest song I've ever heard. And, you know, and then I loved Hank Williams Jr. That was like the album, The Pressure Is On. Like that was like my thing, because my daddy and me in his F-150 1979, if you can picture that, just going down the road, and we didn't have seatbelts. I stood in the seat next to him, you know what I mean? And
standing up with your hands on the dash.
Yeah, dude. Country Boy Can Survive was my song, and I was like, you think they'll play it? And my mom was like, I don't know, go ask them. And my dad's like, I was like, I'm too scared. My dad's like, you're never gonna get nowhere if you're scared like that.
It's good advice.
So yeah, he said just go up there and ask him. So he walked me up there, and I asked the lead singer, I said, hey, do you guys know Country Boy Can Survive by Hank Williams Jr.? He's like, better question, do you know it? And I was like, yeah. He's like, we'll play it if you sing it. And I was like, what? You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. I probably butchered it, but that was the first time, and I loved it. And from then on,
probably
that was the
turning
buzz.
point.
I don't even know who those guys were, but if they're even still alive today, I mean, I think it's, I wish I knew who they were, just to tell them like, hey man, you started something, and you lit a fire under my little butt that day. And I went home and I learned guitar, and I didn't quit. No matter how frustrated I got, I didn't quit until I learned how. And then I started singing with it, and it sounded god awful. And my dad had a nice way of putting it. He said, we need to get you voice lessons. And I was like, well, it didn't sound good. He's like, I just wish you could, it sounded good, but we just need to get you voice lessons. That was his way of going, go back to the drawing board. Now, my mama, I loved her. She was just flat out, if it sucked, it sucked. You know what I mean? There wasn't
you can't sing.
Hey, there wasn't no gray area. There was black and white. Hey, that sounded like crap. You need to go back in your room and work on it, and then come back when it sounds better. And I'd be frustrated and, pissed off, and I'd go back and I'd get better out of spite. And then I'd come back out and play it, and they'd be like, that sounds good. And you're like, yeah, it does. You're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, but it was cool. I didn't know at the time that they were pushing me to be better, and they were pushing me to not just be okay with mediocrity.
It's nice to have that person where you know exactly where you stand.
It is.
It's a rarity to come across somebody that'll look at you and go, that was really bad.
Yeah, it is.
But it's so helpful.
I loved it. And
if you take the criticism correctly, it's so helpful.
Sure, exactly. If you don't get offended by it, I loved it, man, because that is what made me who I am as far as a musician, as far as a singer. As far as just a person in general. You know what I mean? Never be okay with mediocrity. Strive to be the best you can be. So never stop learning. The day you think you know it all is the day you should stop. That's what my dad said.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about music. You'll never know it all.
Never.
Doesn't matter how hard you study. Doesn't matter how long you do it.
That's exactly right.
You're never gonna master it.
It's a never-ending space, and I love it.
I take it you have that same attitude towards your artwork.
I do. Never stop growing, never stop learning.
Yeah, you can tell.
So thank you.
Thank you. Go by the shop and go get yourself a tattoo.
Yeah,
this is the guy to do it.
Definitely.
Maybe he'll sing you.
Studio 413.
Maybe he'll sing you a song while you're there.
Yeah, exactly right.
Let's take a break and have a listen to one of his songs.
Sure.
All right.
Stepped outside my door tonight, and something's not right. The air just feels different without you tonight. I wish I could go back, and I wish I could change. Clouds have all moved in, and so Forecast is a whiskey with a good chance of blues. Like a cyclone, you hit me with a sad, sad news. Too much work and not enough time, but plenty of money. Looks like there's a storm moving in, so you hit the ground running. Forecast is a whiskey with a good chance of blues. Don't know where you are tonight or who you're with, as I sit here in this office chair, about to end my shift. I'll go down to the liquor store and I buy me some Jack. I'll drink till I don't hurt no more, till I don't want you back. I don't want you back. Forecast is a whiskey with a good chance of blues. Like a cyclone, you hit me with a sad, sad news. Too much work and not enough time, but I got plenty of money. Looks like there's a storm moving in, so you hit the ground running. Forecast is a whiskey with a good chance of blues. Forecast is a whiskey with a good chance of blues. Like a cyclone, you hit me with a sad, sad news. Too much work and not enough time, but I got plenty of money. Looks like there's a storm moving in, so you hit the ground running. Forecast is a whiskey with a good chance of blues. The forecast is a whiskey with a good chance of blues.
All right, great stuff. That sounded great.
Thank you. Thank you.
So when did you start writing?
I started writing back when I was probably 13 or 14. I had a best friend. His name is Adam Flora. We still talk regular text and stuff. We haven't hung out in probably 15 years, you know what I mean? But we're still once a month, even once a week, just texting and, checking up on each other, checking up on how the kids are going. But yeah, man, we were best friends when we were kids. And my wife now is Andrea. I was in love with her before she even knew about it. And it's all sappy and mushy. But we wrote a song. We wanted to write a song. So we sat down and wrote our first song. And he wrote it about you know what I mean? He was writing about a girl that he was in love with, and I was writing about her. And It was just, I still sing it to this day. I sang it for her last night on the couch, and she loves it. And it's a good song. It was right after the movie with Adam Sandler came out, Wedding Singer, where he's like sang that song on the plane. So it sounds almost, I think Adam's going to sue me if I ever play it live, because it sounds almost just like it, but I love it. And I mean, it's a little bit different, so
That's great stuff.
But you can hear it. But that was my first song, and that was his first song, so I can't take full credit for it, but we did it, and still to this day, I'm proud of it. You know what I mean? It was a great song, and anybody that heard it, you know what I mean, was like, wow, that you wrote that? It was like, and that's just a great feeling. Like when you getting started writing and somebody just appreciates it so much, they're like, wow, dude, you wrote that. That came from you. And you're just like, yeah. Me and him. And they were like, wow, you know,
that's great stuff.
Made me feel good.
It's awful mushy though.
Yeah, it is.
The funny thing is,
sappy and stuff.
I've got a song I wrote when I was 15 about my wife.
I think we all do. Man. It's like, I mean, not necessarily wives, so fist bump on that. But,
yeah.
You know, I just think it's cool that you find those subjects, if you will, or people, and they affect you so much that you want to write a song about them. And that's a deep feeling for a songwriter, for a musician in general, to care about something or someone so much that you're like, you know what? I'm going to dedicate 3 to 4 minutes telling this person or everybody else how I feel about this person. You know what I mean?
And it's
good
not,
or bad. It's cool.
It's not always an easy thing to do either.
No, it's not.
So what's your writing process these days?
Man, it's all over the place, really. With my songs, sometimes, and this is going to sound crazy, but sometimes I'll have a dream, and I'll dream of myself on a stage singing this song that I've never heard, but I know every word to it. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So then, you know how you have a dream and you wake up and you can't remember anything you just dreamed about. You know what I mean?
Right.
It instantly goes away. It's like deleted. But sometimes, you know, the song will be so good that I'm like, I've never heard that before. I'm going to wake up and write it down. So I woke up and wrote them down. And,
do you keep a pen and paper by your bed?
I do. Or, you know, like, you know, a lot of people do. If I'm down, like going down the road in the truck, I'll, hit that voice memo button, you know what I mean?
Right.
And record whatever. Cause you know, you're bored, you're just singing to yourself. Sometimes I like to drive in my truck and just with the radio off, just for the world to just calm down for a minute, just chill out. You get time to think, clear your head. And sometimes a song will pop in your head or lyrics that sound cool together. You're like, oh, that sounds cool. And you start singing. So, and you don't know how many times, well, you do. You know how many times a song will pop in your head and you'll write it. You'll get home to write it down and nothing. You're like, I can't remember anything I just said, and that's awful. But yeah, I mean, the writing process for me, I guess, long story short, I've rambled on, but I think that I figure out lyrics first, and melody lines, and then I'll take my guitar and I'll try to match them and try to find the chords. And cause I'm already hearing it in my head how it's supposed to be. I just got to match it. It's like learning a cover almost.
Yeah. Once you have the melody, you just got to find what fits behind it. So
I think I write lyrics, first. It's a little bit harder when you figure out, music first, cause then you kind of feel like myself anyway, I kind of feel constricted. Like, okay, there's a specific chord and melody I have to stick with. I can't go outside that box. And it just makes you kind of freeze up as a songwriter. Like, I got to stick within here and I got to figure out what's going to sound good and I can't change it. You know what I mean? So
do you change lyrics ever once you start writing music behind it?
I do. You know what I mean? It's funny. I'll when I figure out music first, I'll write a song and like, oh, this sounds cool, and we'll go here with the chords, and then we'll go here with the bridge, and then when you start to write the words, well, the chorus is not here, it's over here, and then the bridge is not here, it's half as long, and it's over here, and then, you know what I mean?
Right,
and the
right.
verses, it gets stretched out because you figured out so many words, and it just flowed like that, and it's never like you never write a song to music that you've already played and it sounds just like what you've already played. It's all transformed, if you can understand that.
So when you write lyrics first and you come up with the melody line and stuff, do you change the melody line maybe to fit the music?
Sometimes.
Or
Sometimes.
you're more strict about the the lyrics.
Sometimes I try to stay as free as possible on them. I really, when I'm writing, to a melody line that's already been made up lyrically, sometimes if a chord flows better, and if a higher chord sounds better than a lower chord, then I'll adjust the lyrics to that, because I'm a big person on vibes. And if it's flowing and the vibe's good, I don't want to upset that, because in your brain, subconsciously, when you're listening to a song, you want that flow, that natural flow. And that's what, they say rolls off the tongue. That's what makes a song good to us, is when we can chill and the vibe's cool. But if there's an abrupt, like, you know what I mean? It's too harsh. Your brain kind of takes a minute to process that, which gets you off the vibe of the song. Intentionally, not intentionally, but initially kind of confusing you, and you just kind of write off the song. I don't know. That's what it does with me. I know I'm hard to follow, but yeah, but I just think that, as long as it flows, as long as the vibe's good, we just keep going, and whatever comes out, comes out.
Right. So is it more important to you to say what you're saying, or will you fudge stuff around and move stuff around to make it fit music or make it fit a melody line?
Well, that's a good question.
Or will you fudge and go off of your melody line in order to say what you want to say?
Usually with what I'm writing about, it is usually a story. I want to portray a story, and it's almost like a movie that's playing in my head. And I want to write and stick to that story. I've always enjoyed like hearing George Strait write a song, like a good one, Check Yes or No. Okay, you listen to it and the chorus is the same every time, right? But it's a story about two people growing up, falling in love, and it's different stages of their life, and you get to listen to this story of them growing up, and it's almost like you live their life with them. But throughout the whole thing, the one thing that remains consistent and the same is the chorus, and it's the same lines, but it applies to each and every point in their life. It's mind-blowing. That songwriting I've always looked up to, and that's what I try to do in my songs, because I just think that lyrically, it shows a lot of talent when you can figure out a story and tell it to where people know what you're saying and understand it, and they can live that, and they can feel that feeling, and it puts them there, and still keep that same chorus, and it applies to every part. I think that's amazing. I just think that's one thing I love, and that's what I've tried to, replicate, if you will.
So do you typically start with a chorus then, and then try to write around that, or?
Yeah, sometimes, and I think any songwriter out there would agree, sometimes you'll just figure out this sweet chorus and you're singing it to you. I've got 20 or 30 choruses wrote, and I've never wrote a verse to them because I'm like, I don't know what to write, but the chorus sounds awesome. So, and the chorus, every songwriter knows that the chorus is your hook, and having hooks in music, I feel like a lot of musicians nowadays don't have those as much. And
The hook brings you back.
yes, exactly.
The Blues Traveler has a
Yes,
song called Hook.
exactly.
It's a song about writing a song.
Oh yeah, dude. I seen Blues Traveler about a year ago with my buddy Zach Stout, phenomenal musician and writer. And and it was just mind blowing.
Those guys are amazing.
All of them are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's take a break and have another listen to a song.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Little boy just turned 16 at his first high school dance. Seen a girl all alone, wonders if he has a chance. Works up the nerve and walks up beside her, says, "May I have this dance?" And she said, "Oh boy, I can't believe you asked me. Trying so hard not to cry. I've been wanting this forever, ever since the day you caught my eye. You can have me if you want me. I will be your beauty queen. I hope this night lasts forever, as long as you're here with me. We'll be fine. We'll be fine, just fine. Later, working at a truck stop just to make ends meet. He comes home just to find her cooking him something to eat. He works up the nerve and walks up behind her and gets down on one knee. And she said, "Oh boy, I can't believe you asked me. Trying so hard not to cry. I've been wanting this forever, ever since the day you caught my eye. You can have me if you want me. I will be your beauty queen. I hope this night lasts forever, as long as you're here with me. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Some years later, they had a baby boy, growing up to be a man. She looks at him and thanks the good Lord for making things go as planned. All because boy seen a girl and asked her to dance. And she said, "Oh boy, I can't believe you asked me. Trying so hard not to cry. I've been wanting this forever, ever since the day you caught my eye. Well, you can have me if you want me. I will be your beauty queen. I hope this
All right. Great job. Good song.
Thank you. I love that one. That song is really, really one of my favorites. I'm very proud of it. We'll be fine. It's just a testament to a lot of young couples out there, struggling, and sometimes they get overcome with stress in life and everything in between, but still remembering each other and just kind of tapping each other on the shoulder. And you could probably relate with your wife. It's, we'll be fine. Sometimes you need to hear that. Sometimes you need to have somebody just tap you on the shoulder or give you a hug and be like, hey, everything's cool. We're going to be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like I said earlier, I had mentioned earlier about the choruses. I made sure the chorus stayed the same, but it applied to every part of the song. The song starts out, they're at a school dance and he asks her to dance, and she said, "Oh, I can't believe you asked me. I've been waiting for it forever." You know what I mean? Like, she was so excited, and that blossomed into a relationship. And then, then it skips ahead, 5 years down the road, and they're out of school, and, they're working part-time jobs and just trying to get by, and nothing's crazy going on in their life. They just, he got a part-time job at, I forget where it was, but you know what I mean? He got a part-time job. He came home and she was home in the kitchen cooking dinner for him. And he worked up the courage and he got on one knee and he asked her to marry him. And she said the same thing. Oh boy, I can't believe you asked me. I've been wanting this for so long. And which is cool. And to me, I get cold chills just thinking about it. To me, I kind of feel like I achieved that George Strait, that classic country, 90s country vibe on a song. And even it skips forward and they have a baby boy and they're watching him grow up, and she just looks at him, and just, if you have a child, if anybody has a child out there, they know that every time you look at your child, you're like, man, I made that. You know what I mean? You thank God for it. And you thank the Lord for just giving you that opportunity just to be in charge of another human being. But she's, she looks at him and she thanks the good Lord for making things go as they planned them. And that never happens, man. It never goes but in a sense, she goes back to it all started because he asked her to dance at a school dance, and they fell in love from there, and they created this beautiful baby boy. And I just think it's awesome. I love
awesome.
that song.
You can't go wrong with a good story song.
Exactly. Country music to me is just like that. It tells a story, and a lot of people write country music off like, whatever, because it deals with feelings and, oh, I lost my dog in my truck. But man, sometimes, honestly, as a songwriter and as a musician, you can agree that when you can write a song that's so powerful that triggers that emotion in somebody when they're feeling fine, you know what I mean? And if they hear a sad country song and it makes them sad, you've tugged on heartstrings and you've created this song that changes their mood.
That's always kind of the goal, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I love, with country music, it's so easy to do. And that's why I love it so much. I grew up playing it.
It's all about those, when you hear those songs and it takes you back to
wherever, nostalgia.
Somewhere. Yeah. Hadn't heard the song in 20 years.
Exactly.
And it takes you right back to when you were a teenager.
You can remember that date and time. You can remember that girl. You can remember that guy.
What she smelled
whatever.
like.
Yeah, exactly. You can remember everything about that life. You can remember what kind of alcohol you drank at the party you were at and whose house it was at. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I love music, man.
Yeah.
I love everything about writing. Just life lessons, just frozen in time. And you can go right back to them. It's awesome.
It is awesome. So, what kind of bands have you been in over the years?
Bands. I was in my first band. He's going to laugh when he hears this, was with my friend Adam, who I had mentioned earlier, and it was called Three Aces. We were singing country covers and pretty much anything we learned, you know what I mean? Susie Q and CCR, you know, and all those songs, Johnny Be Good from Chuck Berry. That was the first time the band togetherness came about, and you're like, wow, dude, you know, 3 people get together and they can create the sound. It was awesome. We sucked, but we thought we were awesome. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? From there, it blossomed. We we started a band with a buddy of ours named Chris, and he was a phenomenal drummer, and we named the band Walk on End. Weird name, but that was pretty cool too. We played you know, a couple parties and here and there and got people to listen to us. It was cool. And then from there I got into a band called Hazmat, and it was with a bunch of local musicians that still play around here today, and they're phenomenal inspirations to me, really. When I was a kid, we learned to be in a band together. We learned, you know, about music together, and grew up musically together, and in and around the band. And it was with a guy, he's like a second father to me, you know what I mean? And we don't talk all the time, but I sure love him wholeheartedly, and he taught me a lot about music in general. His name is Rodney Sapp. And then my brother-in-law, it's my wife's brother, Alan Grooms. We grew musically together. You know, he went on to start the local monster known as Rootbound, and I was just so jealous. And no, they were phenomenal. They still are phenomenal. They got back together recently, and they're touring around, dude. And I'm telling you, they haven't skipped a beat.
Go see them.
Yes, they still sound just as good, man. I'm so proud of them guys, and I'm proud to call them friends. You know what I mean? Joel Hansen, phenomenal singer. And I grew up learning. Sometimes, you know, some of the things that I know about singing, I've learned from him. We called him Old Dad. That's what it. You know what I mean? But all these people, these monsters of music locally, just inspired me to be better, and we've inspired each other to be better. And it's just so awesome. So Hazmat turned into Hot Rod in the Fast Lane. I used to call Rodney Sapp Hot Rod. You know what I mean? Just as a joke, you know what I mean? But it stuck, and they were going to name it Fast Lane because he was in a NASCAR and Dale Earnhardt, and you know, so we're like, Fast Lane, that sounds cool for a cover band, you know what I mean? And I was like, let's call it Hot Rod in the Fast Lane. And they're like, okay, cool. So it stuck, man, and
That's pretty cool.
We played together for almost 11 or 12 years, and we ended up going our separate ways, and you know, growing musically. And Alan went and started Rootbound and that, and you know, Rodney went and done his own thing for a while, and eventually coming back to it. Hot Rod and Fast Lane still out and about. They're still playing too, and they sound great. But for me, I went and we started Rebel Sound Club, which was it was me and Alan Grooms again, and Kevin Colwell. He was the bass player. He had been my bass player forever, man. We grew up writing music together. I remember meeting that kid in high school, and he was just phenomenal. He just this musician, just phenomenal. And he was in Hazmat with us, and then he was in Hot Rod and Fast Lane with us, and then we started Rebel Sound Club together, and just truly a really good dude and a good musician. And then, you know, we decided, I got busy with work, and I started the tattoo shop, and I just had to bow out, you know what I mean? So they went on and they did their thing, and he's still the front man for Rebel Sound Club today, and they still play out and about. I'm telling you, it's nice. Like a network. We all linked together, and
Right.
so many bands came out of this one. It was so awesome. And but from there, age hit me, and I had children, and I focused on being a father and being a business owner and being a husband. And I really, you know, grew up in these cover bands playing rock and roll music and stuff like that. But really what I wanted to get back to is, you know, throughout the years, after every show would stop, after we would get home at 2 and 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, whatever, sometimes I'd grab my acoustic and I would just play an old Garth Brooks song, or I'd play an old George Strait or a Waylon Jennings song, and just in my head, I'm like, man, that felt good. That felt so good. Country, it was really where my heart was throughout the years. So I decided, I'm like, hey man, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it my way. I've never been a singer for band. I've always been a backup. You know what I mean? So I was like, for the first time, I'm going to step out on my own. I'm going to write my country music that I've been writing forever. I'm going to sing these songs for people. And whether they like them or not, I like them. And I was going to play them. You
that's
know what I mean?
matters.
Yeah, dude. And getting back to that, I just, and I got a group of guys right now. We're working on, learning a set list and learning these songs, and they're writing them with me, and they're phenomenal musicians, and I'm honored to play with them. And, we've not said anything to anybody yet, but, I think the band name is going to be Crow Hollow, and it's just going to be a good time, man. We're going to do some country covers, some rock covers, some blues covers, but ultimately we're going to do some original music, and sprinkle it in there, and just everybody's going to have a good time. We have a blast at practice. We can't wait to release it to everybody. And, it's going to be awesome.
Well, before we move on,
Sure.
You forgot about the band that I first saw you in, Blackwater Soul.
Blackwater Soul. That was my most recent group. We had started, and just phenomenal musicians. Growing up, me and Daniel Horsley, we grew up around each other, and the dude is a guitar monster. He is like a local guitar god. And I'm like, someday I'm going to play with this cat someday. Cause we had played shows with our bands together. One open for one, the other open for other, but we never played together in a band. And, this was our chance. And we started this blues group. It was him, myself, and Len Fuson played bass. Just another phenomenal musician, and Alan White was on vocals. Just that dude tore it up. And then we had Matthew Grooms. He played drums. He is also my brother-in-law. And he was in a band called Specify. I'm sure everybody's heard about around here, but
I didn't realize that he was Al's brother.
Yeah, he's Alan's little brother. I'm telling you.
Two drummers in one family. How in the world did they deal with that?
Music runs deep. I'm telling you, we all had headaches. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, coincidentally, my son, Lane, he knows how to play drums really well.
Yeah, that's great.
And it followed in his blood. And now he's playing guitar too. And I'm so proud of him. He's 10 years old. And the dude, he did 3 dates with us when he was 7. He played Red House. On the drums.
Oh, I saw that. You posted that video on Facebook. Yeah, that was awesome.
Dude, he got a write-up in the local Defender, the paper.
Yeah.
And just phenomenal. The kid just, he never quits practicing. He's always practicing. I'm so happy and blessed to be his father. And just to know that he's got that itch, that music vibe, and that want to, and that fire in him like I do, is just, I'll never express how proud I am. It's awesome.
Well, you touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Writing with others.
Yes.
Obviously that's something you do.
Yeah.
Is that something you do regularly? Is it? Are you more focused on?
It's something that I know. We were just talking about Blackwater Soul. Another person that was in that band, his name is Chris Foster, and that dude is like the godfather of music around here. He's taught so many
really
people.
Well-rounded musician.
Yes. And I've written with him over the years too, but also, him, as well as the other guys, they showed me that, writing as a group it can happen, and you can create the best magic in the world with there was 7 of us in that band. Like,
Yeah, it was a big band.
Oh, dude, it was huge. But writing, it just seemed to, when everybody was on the same page, it flowed like butter, man, and just like
So
awesome.
So how do you go about that, writing with other people?
Well,
Do you set out and say we're going to write at this time on this day? And
yeah, well, I mean, basically we would be like, hey, man, somebody be riffing between songs or whatever, and we're like, hey, play that again, and he'd play it again. We're like, okay, well, play it back, and I'm going to play something to it, and usually it was, Daniel is just phenomenal at writing, so he would come up with this unbelievably awesome riff, and we're like, holy crap, dude. So we took that and we just molded it, and we'd spend all 4 hours of practice on just one song, and couple practices at that, trying to hone in this one song, and it just really taught me how to write with a group of people. We had touched on it a little bit. We had wrote some songs in Fastlane, and I mean, back in my first band, the Three Aces, we were kids. We wrote songs back then, but never before had I ever really like sat back and watched the writing process be done, and just get to be a part of, this awesome piece that they were writing. So, I think, Blackwater Soul for me was it was really a stepping stone, for my country, stuff.
so how'd you go about lyrics on something like that?
Usually, with Blackwater Soul stuff, like Alan, he was good at freestyling, man. He would just start singing some stuff, and then whatever, it was like throwing a rubber ball, against a wall, and seeing if it stuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And well, not a rubber ball, but I mean, I guess a sticky ball and whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, just seeing what stuck, and then whatever stuck, we built off of that. So now with me, like I said, I figure out, the chorus usually, and then I'll write around it. But yeah, I mean, it's so awesome. Just the whole process is really cool. And there's so many ways to start a song. There's so many ways to write, to go about writing, and everybody finds their own way to write. And, what I do may not flow with what you do or what somebody else does, but it's my way. And that's what's the cool part about it. Like, you write your songs your way, and I write mine my way. And that's what this musical universe is. So that's why it's so cool. It's just awesome.
It is awesome.
It is.
Do you ever deal with writer's block?
I do. Ever so often.
How do you deal with that?
Oh man, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes, man, it just don't flow. Sometimes you're just like, yeah, nothing. Sometimes you'll just sit there and you'll play a G chord or you'll play a C chord, like, okay, I'm going to do this. Nothing. And you just put it down, walk away. You know what I mean? So right. I don't know. I just,
do you just wait it out then, or?
I wait it out. Honestly, whatever flows, and whatever happens. And I really think that, I focus on life lessons and life stories, whatever happened around me. Like, the first song that, we listened to was, Forecast as a Whiskey with a Good Chance of Blues. And, it talked about a guy working his butt off to, make ends meet, and to make sure that him and his woman had money, and then he was always at work all the time. And then, she complained about not spending enough time, and, ended up, cheating on him, and cause he was at work all the time. And, it's not nothing against her. It's just, you know, she was alone and he was doing what he thought was right. But, you know, in the end, 4 casks is whiskey with a good chance of blues. Cause that's, you know what I mean? Drink till you don't hurt no more. And
a song not about your wife.
no, not at all. Good point. I'm glad you brought that up. None of these songs are about my wife or anybody we know for that matter. It's just I've gotten the pleasure in tattooing, talking to very cool people, and in that, you know, I hear a lot of different life choices and a lot of life stories and a lot of, you know, decisions that people had to make. And
right.
You know what I mean? I'm also a therapist as well as a tattoo artist now. That's what they say anyway, but
almost as much as a bartender probably.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll take those and I'll put them in a song.
Right.
And you know, it's so funny when I get done writing a country song and it's a sad one or whatever, my wife will be like, you better make sure that you tell people that is not about me. And I'm like, okay, honey. Okay. But she's like, I like the song, but we need to talk. No.
That's great. Well, with the family, with the business, with the band, how do you find time?
I don't. No, man, it's
do you have to schedule time to write?
I'll write late at night when I get home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll stay up way too late past my bedtime and all that good stuff. But you know, as they say, sleep when you're dead, huh? But it's just one of those things where I love music so much, and no matter how hectic my life gets and how fast paced it gets and so many things going on, I will always try to find time to write music and to play music, right? Just because that's my solace. That is my break. That's where I get to calm down and express myself through my guitar. It's not
an option. It's a necessity.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Great. Well, let's take a break and listen to one more song. What else you got coming up?
Definitely. This song is called For the Record, and it's one of my favorites.
Awesome.
For the record, I never wanted this. And if we're counting, I meant it every single time I said I love you. Still can't believe I'm leaving here without you. You were so deceiving with every pretty lie. I wanted to believe you every damn time you said I love you. Now your love light fades to darkness, and up ahead the neon lights the way. So it's a whiskey for the heartache, hoping all those memories drown. And I'll probably regret this in the morning with my Texas eyes hangover. But for the record, this is why Jack Daniels is my only friend tonight. I tried, Lord, I've tried to justify her lies. Was it that I was gone way too much, working that overtime? Was was it that I wasn't there to talk to you? So you let him slip right in and take my place. So it's back to the bar stool till these memories and these feelings are erased. So it's a whiskey for the heartache, hoping all those memories drown. And I'll probably regret this in the morning with my Texas eyes hangover. And for the record, this is why Jack Daniels is my only friend tonight. So it's a whiskey for the heartache, hoping all those memories drown. And I'll probably regret this shit in the morning with my Texas eyes hangover. And for the record, this is why Jack Daniels is my only friend tonight. Yeah, this is why Jack Daniels is my only friend tonight.
All right, another great song.
Thank you. Thank you
job.
very much.
What's your influences?
My
I mean,
influences,
I know you've talked about a lot of
right, artists.
like when you were growing up, you were talking about what your dad listened to and what your mom
Yeah.
listened to. But what'd you really snatch a hold of and go, well, that's me right there?
Country, man. You know what I mean? I can, my earliest memories are with country. I mean, I know, mom, playing the songs and the house, the rock and roll and stuff, which was cool. But, I think, well, I'll take it back. I think Stevie Ray Vaughan was another one. She played that. She introduced me to Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I was like, and it was like the late 80s, you know what I mean? I
Right,
was like 5 or 6, but I was just like, wow, he can really play the guitar, you know what I mean?
Like
And,
no one else.
I was probably the only 9-year-old that actually cried when he died in a plane crash. But,
I still cry about it.
you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. The sky is crying.
Yeah.
There's your dad joke for the podcast. You're welcome. No, but I think country really, really stuck with me. I loved the fact that the feeling in country that to where you can talk about life lessons and it was always about, drinking and women and God and, it wrapped it all into one, you know what I mean? And, life lessons,
Well, I know we were talking about
That's cool.
Hank Williams Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Who else along those lines were really?
Diamond Rio, some of them boys are local,
Yeah.
from Monroe and stuff, Marty Rowe and all of them. It just, them and Johnny Cash.
I think
And-
everybody likes Johnny Cash.
Oh,
It doesn't
yeah,
matter what kind
rock,
of music
whatever,
you're into.
Hell, you could be in rap, and I think Johnny Cash is one of your influences. No,
Yeah, that's true.
There's so many to list. Waylon Jennings, another one. Merle Haggard. was another one too.
I got to see Merle a few years ago, man.
You're so lucky. That's
Man.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was playing at Bonnaroo of all places.
Really?
Yeah,
So cool.
It was so awesome.
So cool. His one of his sons, Ben Haggard, just sounds just like his daddy, but I mean, almost refined. And that dude writes some of the best music. I don't know if you're out there and you got Instagram. Follow him on Instagram. He always posts videos and dude, he's awesome too.
That was my next question. What's some of your favorite local artists?
Some of my favorite local artists. Just off the rip, probably gonna be going right now, Noah Smith, Cigarettes and Jesus. I love it. And Nolan Taylor. Gosh, dude.
Oh, what a voice.
That dude doesn't have any clue how lucky he is to have the voice. I tell him all the time I'm jealous.
I would sit and listen to him sing the phone book.
Dude, yes. Like he's not even allowed to sing around my wife because I don't want to get a divorce. And no, I'm just kidding. No, Sunday Drives, Adam Lee.
Yeah.
That dude just doing what he does, and it's just so unique, and he's such a good person, just all the way to his core, just a good dude. And I love that.
He's coming on the show here soon. Shortly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Me too.
Yeah, they just won an award.
I know.
Recently, yeah.
I know. It's so
awesome.
And he deserves it so much.
It's great that they're getting the recognition.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not got the pleasure of, meeting his partner, but dude, they're phenomenal together. And so those guys are tearing it up. And another person is probably like my favorite voice around here, is Joel Hansen. I love the dude. You know what I mean? He just,
it's nice that Rootbound's back together.
It is. Joel, we got a couple videos on YouTube of me and him singing too. He's just got a great voice. Another one's good. Joey Vasilette. Holy crap. That dude.
Yeah, he's kind of unreal.
He is a superhero. I think he has superpowers.
He does that stuff that you go, well, nobody can actually hit those notes.
Yeah.
And then you go in there and watch him do it.
He just needs a t-shirt to just write it and just says Joey can.
Yeah.
You don't think you can? Well, Joey can.
Yeah.
But
that's a good idea.
Just there's so many people around here that are good. Hot Rod. Rodney Sapp, he's still got it, man. He's still singing and still belting, and I love him. And there's so many artists around here that even what you guys do is it's awesome, man. I love the vibe. I love the jam part of it. You know what I mean?
I love the music that's around here.
I do too.
I just wish there was more of a scene where there was someplace consistently you could go and
I agree.
And you knew when people's records were coming out and where to go hear them.
Exactly.
And some place to really check them out.
Exactly.
And know what's going on.
Exactly. That's why I really, I'm really excited, and I really respect and love what you're doing, because it's stuff like this that gets our name as an artist out there. And you can get really in our head and really know where we're coming from when we write. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll hear a song and you're like, oh, that guy was on drugs or whatever else. You know what I mean? But it not necessarily is like that. Like maybe it was a point in time in their life where, maybe if you get to that, know that person, you'll be like, wow, dude, that is straight from their soul. And I just love that you're doing this, and that we get to, meet these artists up in personal. And
it had seemed to me that people go out and they do see live music, but they know this guy in the band, and so that's who they go see.
Right.
They're not going to see other bands when they would probably like them. I mean, as local musicians, we all come across each other quite a bit and like each other's music. Certainly some of the people that listen to our music would like their music.
Exactly. And sometimes, like, when their favorite person is done, they'll just leave, and it's like, oh
Right.
man,
And
there's
you're
so
like-
much more coming up. So it's funny, like, and you'll probably agree with me, like, when you're planning a show, sometimes you'll be like, who's the most popular? We'll put them last, that way all their people stay, that way they'll listen to us
that
too.
way they get a listen.
You know what I mean? Because if they play first, dude, they're gonna leave, and I'm gonna be playing to 2 people and 1 person cleaning a table at the bar. You know what I mean? Yeah, which that's happened plenty of times.
It's never fun.
But
It's never fun when you look up and you realize that the only person in the bar is the barmaid.
Yeah, your mom, your wife.
She's up there wiping the counters off and wondering when you're going to get done and get the hell out of there so
Right.
she can go home.
Exactly. Exactly, man. I just think that, doing something like this, what you're doing, is going to open up the doors and let people get to know everybody around here, and maybe they'll go out and they'll venture out and see somebody they haven't seen before.
I hope so.
There's also, the old taboo of the bar. A lot of people don't want to hang out at a bar.
Yeah.
But what they don't
there's
realize
so many
is,
good places now that you
Exactly.
can go. Like Sons of Toil always has music up
dude,
there.
The wineries
It's a nice
and the breweries
family,
are tearing it up. I love
family
'em.
friendly atmosphere.
love 'em.
You can go out to the Indian Spring Winery and
yes.
hang out outside and play badminton
Exactly.
and horseshoes. And,
Exactly, man.
yeah, there's great places around here that do have local music and support local music.
Exactly.
Take a little bit of time and go see it.
Exactly, man. Take a Saturday or even,
And bring an
sometimes a
extra
Sunday.
$5 while you're there and buy their CD.
Exactly, right? Buy that t-shirt, wear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's if we can get people turned on to the local music scene more, then I feel like artists like myself, and Nolan Taylor and Adam Lee, which Adam Lee's already out there, man. That dude, he hustles and bustles all the time. That dude's
he's
been
making
hustling.
it happen.
Yeah, but people like the new up and comers like Nolan Taylor, and I would consider myself a new up and comer just because I'm putting myself out there with this country music and seeing what sticks and what people like and just doing what I love, man. And Nolan does what he loves, and Lift the Medium does what they love, and we all do, and Rootbound does what they love, and I just think that if people get out on a Friday or Saturday or sometimes a Sunday, get out and look up where these bands are playing. Go down there, have a beer, have a drink, have a coffee, have a tea, whatever you drink, dude. Just
true.
have a laugh with your friend, but listen to these bands, because a lot of this mainstream music on radio, it's cool and all, but it would blow your mind to hear the local stuff that comes out of here that just beats the
Unbelievable
crap
talent
out of everything on the radio.
Yeah, and Netflix will be there when you get home.
Exactly. Exactly. But look, DVR is a wonderful thing. People record those shows. You can play them back the next day.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite venues around here? You've played out a little bit.
Yeah, I which is not around no more, but Moyer Winery was like, that was my. I love
that was sad.
All those people.
Are they not
my
rebuilding?
favorite people. I think they are. I've heard it through the grapevine. They are, and I hope they do.
I never got to
because
play down there.
I did, and the people and the food and the wine was just unbelievable, and it's just such a sin that it happened the way it did, and I hope they come back, because all those people they're just great people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just to be able to go down there and play music and hang out with them was cool enough, but let alone the place was packed. Every time you played, it was packed. The food was phenomenal, and I really hope they bring it back. Another place that's cool, I've watched numerous shows there, haven't got a chance to play there yet, hopefully will this year. Indian Springs Winery. You
haven't played there yet?
Not yet.
Oh yeah, it's
No.
really nice. I love playing out there.
They had a cancellation, and I was like, if you got a cancellation, call me in. And they did, and they called me, and it was the one time I'm like, it was in 2 days, and I was like, I'm booked. at the shop and I can't get out of it. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, that was my shot. So hopefully if you're listening, please book me one time. I promise I don't suck too bad. But
you'll go over great out there. That they always have a nice crowd and they enjoy music. It's,
it's country's is a you would think it's a great thing around here. And it's starting to pick up, which is great. But it's always been like real fickle. Like you like country or you hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
there's no in between there.
When people are vibing at a bar, they want to have fun and dance and stuff. And sometimes these sad country songs are like, dude, I came here to have fun. I don't want to be depressed when I go home.
Now you know
what I mean?
how us punk rock kids felt growing up.
Exactly. It's just outsiders. But you know that old saying, I was country when country wasn't cool. That was me. I was country when country wasn't cool. But yeah, man, the scene, I feel like with country music is up and coming around here. And I think that,
there's a lot of great
cool.
places to play, and there's a lot of places supporting live music.
Mm-hmm. Sons of Toil is another big one.
Sons of Toil is
I haven't
great,
played there yet, but I got a lot. Like I said, I've watched a lot of shows there, and I have all of my friends have played there, and they're doing a great thing around here.
Yeah.
So the bar in Mount Orab is doing it too,
and in turn they're reaping the benefits of that.
Exactly.
I mean, it seems to be working for them when I've seen other breweries in the area that aren't staying afloat.
Yeah, they're bringing in business, they're bringing in people, and me personally as a consumer, I'm going to support somebody that supports local. I'm going to do that. And as a local business, and I'm not, I may be biased when I say that, but I am. I'm going to put forth that extra $5 or $10 to support somebody local, because it's that which makes our community better and bigger. And in turn, it benefits the music scene too.
That's money rolling around in your community as well.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
More than likely, you're going to end up with that same $5 bill at some point.
Exactly. And if you're a venue owner, that sometimes
you got to spend money to make money.
Exactly. And sometimes bringing these artists in, and they don't bring a lot of people in because nobody's got a lot of money for the door or something like that. You lose money. So in turn, you're like, I can't really book them again. But if there's money flowing around locally and everybody's got a change in their pocket, they can go out to these shows and they can enjoy them, and you can pull in the people, at $5 a piece or whatever. Man, it's $5, dude.
Yeah. Or even not the cover charge. I mean,
exactly, just to go in.
I mean, the local bands around here aren't really expensive.
Not at all.
It's worth it. It's worth it to spend the money. You'll make it back.
Exactly.
And you'll get good vibes out of it too.
Exactly. Agreed.
So I just got one more question.
Okay.
This is the one I ask everybody. What's the best song you've written?
The best song I've written.
That's the same face everybody makes.
Yeah. Wow. I'm partial to all my songs. The best song I've written, I'd have to say it's the song that when we were kids, when I wrote that song about my wife, and it was crazy. We were going to sleep last night. We were in bed, and I was like, hey, and she's like, what? I was like, I had just got done playing that song for her out there, and I was like, did you listen to the bridge of that song? And she's like, what? I was like, well, in the bridge, it says, now we're grown up and we're married. And we got 2 young kids that we're sharing. And every time I look in their eyes, I remember the night that I said to you, you know what I mean? I was like, I literally predicted the future before I even went out with you. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, we got 2 kids and we're married. And, every time.
I am Nostradamus.
Yeah, right. I was like, wow. I said, I'm a sorcerer. No, she's like, wow, I never even thought of that. I said, that's mind blowing, ain't it? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I kind of figured out what I wanted in life and I got it. And I wrote a song about it before it even happened. that's not weird or crazy at all. But yeah, I love that song just because that's what that song taught myself and my friend Adam how to write music. You know what I mean? And it really got that spark flowing. Like, man, I could write my own songs and not have to sing somebody else's songs.
It's awesome.
People like them.
It's awesome. It's stuck with you this long.
Yeah. For the record is one of my favorite ones. I mean, that's the most recent song I've written, and I think that's one of my most refined. I love the way
that's a really good song. I really enjoyed it.
I'm very excited to release it and to see what people think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
do you have any recordings out now?
Not as of right now. I literally, what I'll do is I'll just put videos on my music Facebook page, which you can go follow, by the way, Dusty Chamblin Music. There's a shameless plug. You can go like it and follow it and comment on all the videos. Okay, so there's my commercial.
Go see him at the shop too. Go ahead and plug the shop.
Definitely, yeah. Studio 413 Tattoos in Mount Orab. Come see us. I will put something cool on you, and most of my clients will agree. Sometimes you'll catch me singing along with the radio, and they're like, "Well, I get serenaded while I get tattooed too." And I'm just like, I hope I didn't suck too bad, meaning the tattoo and the singing. No.
Well, when you do record an album, you've got to have a point where you've got the tattoo gun going on in the background.
Just in the background.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, I really enjoyed it, and it was a blast sitting here talking to you about music. Like I said, I could talk about it for days, and I really enjoy what you're doing, and just so much love to you, and I cannot wait to hear the rest of the artists. I enjoyed Corey's too, so it was awesome.
Yeah, we're recording this in January, so just the first episode's out, but
definitely.
But
when you hear this, you will have heard so many good musicians, and I hope that
there's a lot of good ones coming up, and I've recorded a few good ones. I've been absolutely blessed to get some great musicians in here. So
that's so awesome, man. So awesome. Well, I'm
enjoyed looking forward to sharing them with everybody, and I can't wait till they can turn it on and listen to you.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And everybody out there, man, go see a show. Go support all the local artists, not just the ones you know. Widen your horizons as far as music. Listen, expand your minds. I'm telling you, music is awesome in all walks of it. Rap, country, rock, pop, R&B. You're going to find something you like in all of it. Go check them out.
That's right. Support local.
Definitely.
Whether it be business or whether it be music, so support your community.
Exactly.
Hey, thanks a lot again.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Is my only friend tonight.
Thanks again for sticking around to the end. I had a great time hanging out with Dusty. I want to thank Jake Dyer for sitting in on the lap steel and harmonica. Sounded great, guys. I want to thank you all for listening to the show this year. I had a really great time doing it. Just love to have artists come over, and I get a live performance right here in the studio, and it's just great to sit around and talk music with these guys. And I hope I get to do it again next year. So till then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you in January. Thanks a lot.